I can't hear you.
I said, I'm sorry, I didn't unmute myself, right? I said, we'll get started in about 2 minutes. Good seeing you.
Good to see you. And I have to say thank you. I am excited, and we need to have um more of these so our young girls can be uh, aware of what's going on. And I have my daughter with me as well. She graduates next year, class of 2022.
Excellent. Excellent.
So I am excited.
We are too. And so glad that you're here. Where's your
Yes.
daughter aunt sitting next to you?
She went back in a room, but she will be joining as well.
Okay.
All right.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. We'd like to welcome you all to our meeting, our Girls Talk Love United, A Woman's Worth. We thank you all for joining us today. I am going to turn it over to my immediate supervisor, Miss Jackie Brown.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Turn your cameras on. I know y'all still have your Sunday clothes on. I just got finished worshiping. Come on now. I know we're remote, but I want to see you for a little while before we get started. There we go. There we go. So good morning. Again, I'm Jackie Roan, and I am the division manager at the Department of Family Services for the Domestic Violence and Human Trafficking Division. I'd like to welcome you all to our third annual Girls Talk Love United discussion. We're so glad that you decided to spend your afternoon with us to bond and learn about healthy relationships. Whether you're participating with your mother, your grandmother, your auntie, a friend, or a mentor, we hope that you'll not just learn about what healthy relationships are, but you'll also be able to recall and remember the information that's going to be shared with you today, so that you'll feel comfortable with one another, each other, so that if you or someone you know are demonstrating unhealthy relationships or some of the red flags you'll learn about today, you'll be comfortable enough to have that discussion and reach out. I'd like for everyone to remember that everyone wants to be loved and deserves to be respected. Special thank you to Ms. Natasha Hutton, Nicole Jackson-Young, Ms. Ebony Belt for making today's discussion a huge success. Before I ask my boss, the director of the Department of Family Services, Ms. Elena Balan Butler, to introduce the Mistress of Ceremony and our keynote speaker, I'd like to remind you all that this is not just National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It is also National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Ladies, please remember to do your self-exams and go get your mammograms. Miss Elena, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. It is so great to see so many faces this morning. I wish, just like Miss Jackie, we could be in person. We are used to doing events and being able to embrace one another and fellowship with people in person. But even though we can't be in person and embrace you, we are embracing you virtually. We want you to know how much we care about you. And I also want to say that you could have been a number of different places this morning. I'm sure there are a variety of different opportunities that you had, but you elected and chose to be here with us. And so sincerely, humbly, on behalf of Prince George's County government, our county executive, Ms. Angela Alsobrooks, and our entire department, I want to thank you for choosing to be here at our Girls Talk Love United event. I also want to take this opportunity to thank Jackie and her team, Ms. Natasha Hutton, who I have not had an opportunity to embrace or see her beautiful smiling face in a very long time. And I want her to know I miss seeing her dearly. But Jackie's team has done an incredible job throughout the pandemic. Since March of 2020, they have worked tirelessly to make sure that survivors and victims of domestic violence, as well as victims of human trafficking, had the resources that they need. So I do want to acknowledge Jackie and her team. Thank you, Ms. Jackie, for everything you've done. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the entire Department of Family Services for all of their support and teamwork throughout this last 18 months. It's been, I'm sure, a very difficult time for all of us, but I think that we have shown our spirit and we have shown our character and we have shown what we are capable of. As Jackie's indicated, this is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and across the country, advocates and elected officials and many people just like you and I have decided to come together to participate in events that raise awareness about domestic violence. So again, thank you for being here. Now I have the pleasure of introducing a young woman that I haven't had an opportunity to work with or meet, but I hope to one day be able to meet her soon. Miss Ebony Belt, the founder and CEO of Divine by Design Mentoring Company, has been mentoring young girls since working as a clerk with the Prince George's County Police Department. As young girls would get released from juvenile processing, Ebony would speak to them and mentor them to ensure that they would not be repeat offenders in our system. From there, she began to find other ways of doing outreach, and then Ebony decided to get her bachelor's degree in psychology and her master's in management to better understand human behavior. After working with foster care children, she now works full-time with the homeless population. This particular company continues to create every day programs that enhance the lives of others, and as well as reach the underserved. They offer group services and individual services to ensure that young females develop lifelong skills and that they develop the relationships and understand what a healthy relationship looks like, no matter where their starting point is, or no matter what past mistakes they may have incurred in the past. Setting goals with and for girls and ensuring those goals are achieved for the betterment of the lives of the girls that this company serves is Ebony's passion and her mission. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Miss Ebony Belt. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Miss Elena, for that. I would like to welcome everyone to Girls Talk, which is something that I absolutely love to do. My company does it weekly with girls, and we don't take it lightly that you have decided to spend your Sunday with us. We are so excited to see you all. And ladies, I want you to pay attention because we have very great speakers. We have very great presenters, including myself. I'll be presenting a little later, but I want you to pay attention because each person is going to drop gems. And when I say drop gems, these are things that you can hold on to for the rest of your life that can carry you through, things that you will always remember, keep here in your mind and in your heart when you're going through, because life happens. It happens to us all. But today we have people who are going to present things, poems, PowerPoints and things like that, that will be able to help you to stay encouraged and remember your self-worth. Remember to keep these things close to you as you continue to thrive and go through life. So we want to, again, welcome you. We want to thank you for spending your Sunday with us. And I want to also introduce my daughter, Gabrielle, who would like to say good morning as well. And thank you for joining us.
Morning, and thank you for joining us in.
So before we get started, of course, we are on a virtual platform, so we do want to go over a few housekeeping rules. We want to make sure that you guys stay muted while participating in the 2021 Girls Talk Love United, a Queensworth virtual event, unless you are a presenter or invited to the virtual platform to speak. So please make sure that all your mics are muted. Please be respectful and courteous of the creative process and fellow attendees. Also, please be mindful of your background noise, which if you're on mute, that should not be an issue. And then please refrain from using expletives, racial slurs, and other demeaning language when communicating in this forum and when using the chat feature. Please Please do virtually snap or raise your hand if you wish to engage, and then have fun and enjoy yourself. Most important, have fun and make sure that you are interacting with all of the speakers either through chat or give us a thumbs up, give us a hand clap, let us know that we're doing a good job. So next, I want to introduce the county executive, Ms. Angela Also Brooks, who will offer words of recognition, followed by Calvin S. Hawkins II, who is the Prince George's County Council Chair.
Hello, everyone. I want to thank the Acting Director of our Department of Family Services, Anthony Butler, and our very own Jackie Roan for helping lead this important discussion. I also want to thank Ebony Belt, the Executive Director of Divine by Design Mentoring, for being here today. I also want to thank all of the agencies who have helped us facilitate this important event, including, of course, the Department of Family Services, Domestic Violence and Human Trafficking Division, the Department of Parks and Recreation, our Office of Community Relations, and the Prince George's County Domestic Violence Coordinating Council. And last, I want to thank all of you, mothers, grandmothers, daughters, mentors, mentees, for being here today, talking about the importance of self-love and healthy relationships. According to loveisrespect.org, only 33% of teens who were in violent relationships ever told anyone about the abuse. When teens do decide to share their trauma, parents are often the last to know about the extent of what their children have faced. As a parent, I shudder to think that this could happen to my daughter. I want her to know that she can always tell me if someone is threatening or hurting her, no matter who it is. And that's why we're all here today. As parents, grandparents, and mentors, we want to let our girls know that they can talk to us about anything. Personally, I want my daughter to know that I'm here to listen, especially when things are tough. And as for Prince George's County, we take domestic violence and harm seriously. We're doing everything we can in government to make sure our court system can find justice for victims of domestic violence. I began my career as an assistant state's attorney. And while I was there, I became Prince George's County's first full-time domestic violence prosecutor. Day in and day out, I worked to help victims of domestic violence find safety and freedom from their abusers. That's why during my 2 terms as state's attorney, we dedicated many resources to domestic violence prevention while also providing resources to potential abusers. We did this because we understood that ending the vicious cycle of domestic violence means providing treatment for potential abusers as well as protecting victims. All of the programs we've created and all the work we've done to stop domestic violence has a much greater impact if we're open with each other. Safety and freedom starts with difficult conversations. When we let our trusted friends and family know what we're going through, they can help us. To all the girls listening right now, all of you have a wonderful opportunity to form constructive new relationships that can set the tone for a lifetime. Right now, all of you have a wonderful opportunity to communicate what's happening in your lives, to talk openly about what you've seen and what you've heard. This kind of openness is a great way to connect with the people in our lives, a great way to protect the ones we love, and a great way to protect ourselves. We want to do everything we can to make sure our daughters grow up to have healthy, open relationships with their partners. Relationships that are fun, mutually beneficial, full of love, and free from abuse. I know that every mother figure, and mentor here today feels the same. So I encourage all of you to be open with each other. There may be awkward and uncomfortable moments, but the benefits of this openness are enormous and they have lifelong consequences. And we're all talking today. Remember to be kind to yourself and to love yourself. No one deserves to be hurt, and every single person here is valuable and worthy of love. Thank you all for being here today. Events like these give us a platform to start a difficult conversation. After the discussions have ended, don't forget to take what you've learned back home with you. The more we open up here, the more we can open up the world around us together. Thank you, and please enjoy today's program.
Next, I would like to call on Calvin Hawkins from the Prince George's County Council.
Unfortunately, he won't be joining us today. He had an emergency in his family, so we're going to continue.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to introduce Ms. Aaliyah Thomas, who is our mental health service provider. So recognizing that some of the information that we'll be discussing today can be triggering for some of you all on the call today. If anyone does experience triggering emotions, Ms. Aaliyah Thomas, the homeless and domestic violence specialist from Community Crisis Services, Inc., she's participating and she's available to speak to anyone. And you can please feel free to send her a private message in the chat. I'm going to assume that everyone knows how to work the chat. Can you guys give me a thumbs up if you all know how to work the chat, or should we do a quick run through so that should anyone feel triggered, you will be able to immediately access Ms. Aaliyah. So without further ado, Ms. Aaliyah Thomas.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you all today. Like Ms. Belt was saying, I do know that some of these topics can be triggering for some of you all. If anyone feels, triggered or wants to speak, please feel free to direct message me. I'll be here with you all, so I look forward to hearing from some of you.
Thank you, Ms. Aaliyah. And then next we have our icebreaker. So we want to check your temperature. How are you guys feeling this Sunday? We're moving into fall. Fall weather is making its comeback. I personally love fall and winter. I'm a February baby. So can you guys give us an emoji? Let us know how you're feeling. Are you feeling confused about what's going on today? Are you feeling exhausted? You can do this by doing your reaction buttons at the bottom of your screen. Are you feeling cool, shocked? What's going on this Sunday? We want to see, oh, Miss Tawanda, I see you have a happy face. You're feeling good. Miss Kamora, you're feeling love this morning. Miss Jackie, oh, I see Ashir has a heart up. We're feeling love. Looks like SM Curtis, you're feeling cool this morning. Is anybody ready for the summer weather to go? I see some messages in the chat. We're feeling cool, feeling blessed on this Sunday. Miss Deborah Franklin, I see you're feeling okay. So good. I'm glad to hear from you ladies. To see that everyone is feeling good this morning, and we're hoping by the end of this session that you guys will be feeling even better and walking away with great knowledge. So I next want to introduce our featured poet, Miss Ashir Ramani. And, oh, sorry. So Miss Ashir Ramani is a young, intuitive artist of Caribbean background, originally from Nevada and later Virginia. She enjoys acting, modeling, and all things artistic and creative. She focuses on bullet journaling, poetry, baking, and photography. Ashir is trained in classical dance and working to be a top beauty and lifestyle influencer. She enjoys spending her free time with family and friends. She is a bright young woman with everything to give to the world, who strives for the best and works her hardest. She enjoys making others around her smile and better herself daily. I would like to introduce you to Ms. Ashir Ramani.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ashira Ramani. Thank you for that nice introduction. Before I get into my poem, I just want to say that this is a very hard and sensitive topic. And if this has happened to you or is happening, or you know somebody that this is happening to, please speak up and speak up to an adult. And I just want to say that you guys are all beautiful and that you guys are all worthy of love, and that you need to know that you deserve a healthy relationship and that one is coming your way. So my poem is entitled The Two Sides of Love. Loving you was war, strangling me from the inside out, the pressure on my chest as I counted the days I'd let you hurt me. Our heartbreak wasn't even the bloodshed that you put me through. The poison was you. Mom says we can't save them all, but I knew I could fix you. I would cleanse the street and slang out of you as if I was training a newborn puppy. I could do it. I was wrong. You never intended to change, and you tricked my mind, and you tricked my soul. Starting from my mind to my body, I became hollow. But I had the faith that one day, just one day, we'd be okay. And with this day, we'd walk into the sunset singing our favorite song. You left me crippled by the paralyzing pain of just looking at you. But who was I anymore? I lost myself in you. You let me depend on you, crushed me until I was nothing left. You somehow made me feel guilty. Was that your plan all along? Falling in love with you, I had to question my faith. There's no way God let me be in love with rape. There's no way God let me be in love with abuse. You were as toxic goes, as toxic gets. And I know it's scary. That's why I was terrified, and that's why I never left. Those red flags appear earlier than you know, but you ignore them. Instead, you see shiny things and flashy words. You're blinded by who they really are. And my grandma always says, when they show you who they are, believe it. When you see the signs, you know to run. Run as far and fast. These are predators ready to lock you up and trap you as prey. And I know you miss the old you, because I do. Remember the times we used to have frolicking in the garden and playing tag, playing with dolls in the great land of make-believe? Come back to me, darling. It's our love I'm trying to retrieve. Each other's best friends. Where did you go? I know I grew up and it was my time to go. You're going to grow up one day soon enough, years will fly by and you remember it was all not all that rough. You had it good, and growing up, it was scary, but I'm staring at you 17 years far, and with your love, I'll always carry. The big smile on your face and the pitch in your laugh, it's one I can't make out anymore. Please know you have never been trash. So smile for me, baby girl, like you once did before. You'll make it through the dark, and life won't be such a bore. To the girl I knew before, the one I once loved, I'll find that love again, and with that, I'll return. Loving myself is peace. Thank you.
Yes, can we please give it up for Mr. Shear? Wonderful job. Wonderful job. I hope you guys were able to take something from, I see a couple hand clap reactions. Make sure you're using your reactions. And if you have your camera on, let us see you clapping, smiling, so we know we're doing a good job. Thank you so much, Ashir, for that wonderful poem. Okay, so next we are going to move into our main presentation, which is presented by me. And this is going to be our, and Mr. Shear, you're getting a lot of love in the chat, so make sure you check the chat as well. Main presentation, and I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see that now. Can everyone give me a thumbs up if you can see? Okay, perfect. So I want you guys to make sure that I want to make sure that this is a conversation. I don't want to be the only one speaking, though I will be presenting. I want to make sure that you guys are interacting as well. So I will be asking questions along the way that you guys can unmute for or put in the chat so that we can see your reactions, we can see your answers. And the title of this presentation is Healthy Relationships, Self-Confidence, Boundaries, and Red Flags. These things are all important when you are dealing with relationships. And when we're discussing relationships, these aren't just boyfriend, girlfriend relationships or things like that, but these can be mother-daughter relationships, grandmother and granddaughter. These can be friends, teachers, and things like that. So keep this in mind as we continue to move through the program, that not domestic violence and unhealthy relationships don't just pertain to relationships that are boyfriend and girlfriend or it's of that nature. It can be mother-daughter relationships that can sometimes get toxic and get off track. But we want to make sure no matter what type of relationship that you're in, that you know how to navigate through these relationships and recognize when it is unhealthy, or recognize when it is healthy, and when maybe you need to make changes along the way, because sometimes it's our own inner things that we need to work on that can damage relationships around us as well. Okay, so let's move into some relationship definitions. So one definition is the way in which two or more concepts, objects, or people are connected, or the state of being. Then another definition says the way in which two or more people or groups regard and behave toward each other. And then lastly, an emotional or sexual association between two people. So let's talk about different types of relationships. Can you guys either put in the chat or unmute and let me know a few different relationships that you can think of, or that you may be in yourself? And I don't even think I can see the chat anymore. Okay, so I see grandma, mother, daughter. Awesome. Oh, mentor and student. That's great. Coach and player. Absolutely. Brother and sister. Boss and associate. Awesome. Father and daughter. Yes, absolutely. Best friend. Sisterly. Oh, big sister programs. Yes, absolutely. Oh, employee and employer. Okay. Oh, employee. Okay. These are all great. Sister. Infatuation. Okay. Me and God. Okay. I love it. Sister and brother. Marriage, co-workers, and friendships. Absolutely. These are all great, ladies. And these are all correct. Okay. Now, when we think about self-esteem, what are the first things that come to mind for you ladies? When you hear self-esteem. And the title of this slide says self-esteem. Is it a me issue or is it a you issue? Can I truly love you if I don't love me? We go back to the chat. Okay, so I see me issue. Okay. Insecurities. Oftentimes, especially when you have been exposed to trauma, so oftentimes we look at our self-esteem as a you issue, as another person's issue. A person dictates how much self-esteem or self-confidence we have in ourselves. But look at the key word here, which is self. It has everything to do with your self-image. So your self-esteem is your overall sense of personal value and self-worth. But sometimes we can get into relationships and we give away our power. And so we allow people to rip us of what we would think would be our self-esteem because they speak negatively to us or they do things that damage us in certain ways. And so it lowers our self-esteem. However, if we're in position where we're able to build ourselves up for ourselves versus for another person, then you'll always keep your self-esteem high, your self-confidence high, because you built it for yourself and not based on another person, if it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully it makes sense to you guys. And there are 3 types of self-esteem: inflated self-esteem, low self-esteem, and high self-esteem. So if you have low self-esteem, you think of yourself as below average. And sometimes trauma can do that. And not just sometimes, but majority of the time. Should you be in a traumatic relationship, should you be in a traumatic situation, you can begin to look at yourself as very low or not worthy of love or worthy of being respected. And what happens here, It causes poor relationships because you'll walk into these relationships with self-doubt and feelings of not being good enough. So we want to make sure that we stay away from low self-esteem. However, if we are in a place of low self-esteem, we can always build ourselves up. If we say we're at the bottom, what do we always say? There's no place to go but up from here, right? So if you do find yourself feeling like you're in a place where your self-esteem may be a little low, due to whatever may have happened in life, then I encourage you guys to daily work on encouraging yourself, positive affirmations, and speaking life to yourself because it's so important. The unfortunate thing is a lot of times we depend on others and we look outward for for validation from others, but the most validation you can get is from yourself. That is the most important validation that you'll ever be able to get and achieve, is to look yourself in the mirror every day and just speak yourself up. That is very important. So then you have high self-esteem. These people they tend to love and accept themselves, flaws and all, right? And there is little to no fear of being accepted by others. There is also healthy relationships because they are pleasant to be around. So they're a little less toxic. So when our self-esteem is high and we know our self-worth, when we know who we are, and when we know what we want to tolerate and what we don't want to tolerate, we're a little more pleasant to be around, and our relationships are healthier because we don't bring toxic traits with us to the relationships. And then there is inflated self-esteem. And these people tend to think of themselves as being better than others. And this self-esteem would be considered negative. And the reason it's considered negative is because it can cause strain on relationships because of the inability to listen to others, which is so important because we all want to be loved and listened to. So if we want to be loved and listened to, we have to be able to reciprocate that back to the people that we're in relationships with. And then also they may blame others and lack accountability, and do a lot of bragging, and then have the fear of rejection. So all of these things navigate and determine how we make decisions. And if you notice, and if we're honest with ourselves today, if we ever found ourselves, I see, I think that says Makai. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. It says learn how to practice active listening. That is so very important. And thank you for putting that in the chat. But if we go back to certain decisions that we've made in our life that maybe weren't the best decisions, if we go to the core of these decisions, I think we can trace it back to having low self-esteem or low self-confidence, which just made us make decisions that weren't the best. So has anyone ever been there? I know I can raise my hand because I've been there. I've been in a place where I've been where my self-esteem definitely wasn't where it should have been, which led me to make decisions or get in relationships with people that I should have never been in relationship with. And as I got older and I began to build myself up and look at me on the inside and work on myself from the inside out, then I was able to look back and say, if my mindset was in a different place, or had I known my self-worth then, I wouldn't have made this decision, or I wouldn't have made that decision. So we can honestly, and I think we can collectively say that self-esteem is a me issue, and it's an issue that I need to work on, right? So do we all agree? A thumbs up if we can all agree that it is a me issue. Now, the question still stands. Can I truly love someone else if I don't love myself? So is there anyone who would like to either speak to this, or do you have any experiences where you may have been in relationship with someone where you didn't love yourself and then you were able to recognize that you weren't loving them properly?
I guess I can speak on it. I would definitely say that a relationship is a lot harder when you're not as mentally stable and the love for yourself is really, really low. I think if you really want to get into a relationship and you don't love yourself to the absolute max, as long as you're like halfway there or you're at least trying to work on yourself, I think you could still work on yourself while still being in a relationship. And I think a lot of people don't think that that's a possible thing. And I just wanted to know that I wanted y'all to know that you can work on yourself while still being in a relationship. And I believe that the best way to do it, I think, wait until you feel the best in yourself and like you love yourself enough to be able to love somebody, because that's a really big commitment and that's a really big responsibility. So
Thank you so much. I 100% agree. Oh, I think, Miss Rashida, do you have your hand up? I'm sorry.
Yes, I can relate to Ms. Ashira said, and what she said, it hits the nail on the head because me myself was dealing with low self-esteem because the person I was with a long time ago would down talk down and embarrass me. Like when he was around his friends, he was um just bringing me down, and that brought my self-confidence and low self self-esteem down. So now moving forward, it's like I am you know the expression, you can have lemon to make lemonade, but it's hard adding the sugar. Because now that I think about it, I see it, because sometimes you have to be careful because salt and sugar are the same color, and it's like bittersweet. So now my self-esteem and self-confidence is coming up. I'm still working on myself. And before I can get into another relationship, working on me is my top priority. And I just do daily meditation just to help on me physically and mentally. So when I do decide to date again, I will be prepared and also ask certain questions about that person. What are his values? What does he like to do? What are your goals and what do you like to accomplish?
Thank you so much for that. And ladies, another thing I want, because a lot of times people can make us feel guilty for saying that we want to work on ourselves or that we love ourselves. It's not selfish to love yourself. You have to love yourself. One thing that Shira said that was so very important, she said loving someone else is a big responsibility. And it is, because you can not only damage the next person, but you can also damage yourself by not taking this responsibility seriously. It's almost like having a child. You know, it's so very important to guard not only your heart, but the other people's heart that you're in a relationship with. It is so very vital. And have you guys ever heard you can't pour from an empty cup? Have you guys ever heard that? Thumbs up. I can't see everyone, but thumbs up if you've ever heard that. Okay, so I see a couple thumbs down. So if I have no self-love, if I have no confidence, how can I pour into someone else? It's empty. Nothing's going to come out of this bottle because the bottle is empty. But if I begin to work on myself and I begin to fill myself up with self-love and I begin to fill myself up with confidence, I can then take this bottle and pour into the next person the same love, affection, respect, and value that I'm giving to myself. So remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So if you're empty on the inside, your self-esteem is low, you have no love for yourself, you don't value yourself, your decisions, and things like that, there's no way you can positively be in relationship with anyone else. And that goes for friends, dating, children, no matter who it is that you're in relationship with, it'll become toxic. So remember, that's another gem that we just dropped in your pocket. So Ashir dropped one today. which says that loving someone else or being in a relationship with someone else is a huge responsibility. So that's one gem. And then I just dropped another one. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So as I know, everyone has been on social media and seen this trend that has been going on all week about red flags and green flags. So at first it started with red flags, and then someone said, you know what, I'm going to start doing green flags because I just don't want to see all about red flags. But here are a few red flags in relationship. And again, this doesn't just have to be a dating relationship. This can be parental. This can be with friends, no matter who you're in relationship with. But a few red flags are verbal abuse. They have low self-esteem, guilt trips, intimidation, unable to control their feelings or emotions, and then physical abuse, which is huge as we are talking about domestic violence. So can you guys give me a few red flags that you either have experienced, if you're comfortable talking about, or a few red flags that you do know about? So please feel free to put these in the chat, or either unmute and let us know red flags. So these people, so all of the people on the call, we all can work together to recognize these red flags, because the red flags that I may have experienced through my life may be different from the red flags that you may have experienced, but you sharing your experience will help us all to recognize these. So I see if they talk bad about people, so it's moving so fast. Okay, controlling, stalking. Okay, I have exercised guilt trip with children. Now I understand this is a form of abuse. Awesome, awesome. And then when you're able to go back and recognize where you have went wrong, that takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of strength to recognize it, and then it takes a lot of strength to make the changes. Oh, okay. Miss Nicole Jackson Young. She said red flag, queens, watch how they interact with their mother to learn them. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. I see withholding financial support. Okay, I see a hands up by, and I hope I'm saying your name right, Kimmery. Okay. Can you unmute? Okay, there we go.
Sorry. This is Carrie. I'm Marlene. I just wanted to say, actually, a red flag is, so I'm a person that's been known to have high self-esteem, but it was masked because I was in actually an abusive relationship and experienced all of that. So a red flag to oneself is you may be seen as others to have a high self-esteem, but it takes that one person to bring you down, and he'll cover it up being nice to you, but he'll slowly take away your confidence, your friends, just slowly peel one layer at a time. So you really have to watch out for that. And I experienced one relationship, all these things happen, and it happened so fast before it got bad. But I'm out of that relationship, I'm happier now, but I just want to be aware, let people know, be aware of that those little things get peeled away, your friends get taken away, your family. My niece even said how he abused others to me, so he was probably doing the same thing to other people about me. So just have to be watch out for that. So that's all. Bye.
Thank you so much for that. And those, that is great. And you're right. The little things, they really chip away at you. It takes time. Sometimes it can take time, but like she said, sometimes it can happen very quickly. So thank you so much for that. And then I see actions speak louder than words. When they say one thing to do another. Absolutely. Dismissiveness. Let's see. Trying to control every move you make. Isolation. Uh-huh. Okay. Thank you, ladies. These are all great. Okay. Controlling behavior. Yes, I think I've seen that one. Okay. Okay. Did anyone else want to share experience?
I would like to share the red flags for me was verbal and physical. When I was carrying my daughter, Imani. Imani, say hi. Just wave your hand. That's Imani
Hi,
waving.
Imani.
And it was like he seemed like a good guy, But after a while, I didn't know his background and history. Whenever he gets upset, he would accuse me of why am I flirting with this person, and I tell him I'm not. And it was many a time the verbal abuse would come in, and then the physical abuse was my eye would be he would punch me in the face. My eye would be swollen shut. Like I've been in 12 rounds with Mike Tyson, and also my lip was like out to here. And still to this day, I'm not sounding harsh or anything. I always tell myself I forgive you, but I'm not going to forget what you have done to me, because honestly, this is like a battle scar.
Mhm.
And so now, by me getting back to the low self-esteem, by me getting working on myself, I still have to tell myself, okay, the next relationship that I get into, how do I tell that person, or but that person understands what I been through? Because honestly, it's not easy to talk about it. Excuse me if I'm getting teary eyed, because it's hard, and it's like I block it out and move on, but sometimes it just gets overwhelming and I just break down. But I tell myself it's going to be okay, because the only thing, this lesson is making me stronger as a person and individually individually. So right now I'm just um I'm moving forward, I'm smiling, and I just tell myself I can do all things through Christ that strengthen me. So now I have my focus on myself and my focus on God, because basically he's the boyfriend that I have. And also, yes, they say, cast your care upon the Lord. Yes, and that's what I've been doing to better myself and humble myself. And like I tell my daughter, I don't want her to make the same mistakes I did.
Mhm. Well, Miss Rashida, let me first thank you for sharing, because like you said, it isn't easy. And I commend your strength. And we all want to give you a hand clap, one, for being strong to share, and then two, like you said, you're building yourself every day. Just continue to give yourself grace and continue to take your time to build and lean upon your faith, as you said. But again, thank you so much for sharing, because your story is, I'm sure. Uh-oh. It says I'm muted. Can you guys hear me? Okay, it said I was muted. Okay, helping more than one person on this session today. So again, thank you for sharing. And we wish you nothing but the best from here. And I know things will just get better from this point on for you.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank
Okay,
you so
so
much.
y'all can turn your phone off. Oh,
Let's make sure that we are muting if we are not speaking, please. So now let's move on to green flags. See, here we go. So green flags. And these are healthy things in relationships that we want to look for too. So we don't always have to look for negative things in relationships, right? We can look for the positive things, because if we can find these positive things, then we know that this is the relationship that will probably be good for us. Friendship, dating, whatever it may be. So the green flags that we want to look for in relationships are honors boundaries, communicates openly, self-responsibility, empathy, which is so very important, and I teach this all the time. A person who supports your growth, and then they have healthy habits. So let's dive a little bit into green flags. If you guys know or have been able to recognize any green flags in yourself or in other people, or green flags that you may want to work on for yourself, for your next relationship or friendship, or any relationship that you may be in now.
What I said in the chat was when they support like the real you and let you be yourself. And because I know in a lot of relationships nowadays, your partner tries to change you. Oh, I don't want you having friends, or I don't want you doing this, and I don't want you to do that. When a real partner that you should have will let you be exactly who you want to be and allows you to be yourself. And when you find that person, that's the right person. You shouldn't be with someone that wants you not to be who you are.
Yes, thank you so much. And I want to say thank you so much, ladies, for listing Miss Rashida up in the chat. I don't know if you can see it, Miss Rashida, but you're getting a lot of feedback in the chat. And ladies, I want to thank you for that, because as they say, it takes a village to raise a child. A sisterhood is nothing like a good sisterhood, for sure, to uplift you and encourage you.
Thank you so much. And I just gotta say, I'm glad this flyer came out, and I'm hoping there will be many more, because honestly, the generation today, it's I can only imagine. And yes, things are not what they um used to be back in the day. And honestly, I think that the young girls, they need to be aware of what's going on. And like I tell Imani, watch the company you keep, because nowadays these young men are only after one thing. So it's like they don't really care about you. And I just say thank you. And it made me feel better that I was able to share, and like, hey, this happened to me, and I don't want anything to happen to the next young lady growing up, because Imani, she's a senior in high school. She'll be 18. And when she goes off to college, I want her to have this knowledge, so she too can also be aware in how to carry herself around people, and especially young men, because it's how can I say, so much stuff that's going on today. And as a single mom who went through everything, I share this because this is my testimony, and I just want everybody to know, hey, I've been there, done that. Feel feel your pain. And like I always tell Imani, don't let nobody tell you what you can't do. You be yourself. Even though she was having bullying issues with kids at school, and I told her, when you go to school and everything, you just walk in the building, um, tip your crown upright, and walk in there with your head held high and do what you got to do. And one pep talk I told her is that, hey, you gotta brush it off, keep on walking. And one song is that by Mary Mary, keep on walking. And that's it. Because it's okay to be by yourself. If people trying to figure you out, hey, let them. Because really, and one last nugget I also tell her, what's the point of crying over spilt milk where it's already spilt? And whenever she gets in a situation, I ask her, is it worth it? And she says no. And I tell her, let it go, move on.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Rashida.
You're welcome.
Miss Ayana put in the chat that we've been hearing the terms verbal abuse and trauma a lot throughout the day. And she asked to elaborate on that a little bit. So verbal abuse would be someone calling you stupid or just putting you down verbally. So they're not touching you physically, but they are demeaning you or putting you down, always have something negative to say. And that can really wear and tear on your mental, because if you're hearing it over and over again, if someone is constantly saying to you, oh, you're ugly, or you whatever they may say that may be negative, you're constantly hearing it. So then your mind tricks you into believing it. And then once you're out of this situation, you then have to rebuild yourself to say, I'm none of these things that this person said to me. So that would be verbal abuse. And then I wanted to elaborate on trauma. So trauma is an emotional response to a terrible event like an accident, rape, or natural disaster. So immediately after the event, shock or denial are typical. Longer term reactions include unpredictable emotions, flashbacks, strained relationships, and even physical symptoms like headaches and nausea. Our mind is very, very, very powerful, very powerful. So if we're stressed or if we're constantly thinking negative things, we can definitely manifest these things in our bodies. A lot of times you can think, I tell people all the time, think about what you're thinking about, because you can think yourself happy or you can think yourself sad. If you're in a bad mood and you continue to think the negative thoughts, or you continue to think negatively, you're going to stay right there in that bad mood. However, if I can think about what I'm thinking about, and I say, oh, you know what, my thoughts are a bit negative today. Now my head is hurting. Let me think about what I'm thinking about and think on something positive. I can change my mood just by my thoughts. It's the same way music does for us. We can listen to a song that may trigger us to feel sad, or we can listen to a song that may trigger us to feel happy. So thinking about what you're thinking about is very important as you navigate through your everyday life. This is a practice, and it takes time to even be able to do it, because oftentimes you're not aware of your thoughts because you're going through the day, you're in school, you're working, you're taking care of children, or whatever it is you may be doing. Your thoughts are not priority to say, oh wow, I just had a negative thought and my mood instantly came down. So that's another gem that was dropped. Think about what you're thinking about. And lastly, I wanted to touch on boundaries and why they are vital. So personal boundaries are the limits and rules we set for ourselves within relationships. A person with healthy boundaries can say no to others when needed or when they want to. And you may have different boundaries within different relationships. It's not one size fits all. So with my daughter, the boundaries are going to look different than they look with my husband. Or the boundaries with my teacher or my mentor, they're going to look different than the boundaries that I have with a friend. So is there anyone who is able to touch on just quickly how they maneuver with boundaries, or have you been able to effectively set boundaries in the relationships that you're in? I'm gonna go back to the chats. Okay, and then I see someone said, once you set the boundaries, ensure to maintain them and don't let anyone pressure or persuade you. And that is so very important because oftentimes we can set boundaries and we say we're going to stick to these boundaries, but a person who doesn't respect boundaries and may not know how to exercise healthy relationships, it talk us out of maintaining these boundaries. So thank you for that. I think it's Makai. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Ashira, I see your hand up.
In terms of boundaries, just remember to always stay true to yourself. That's something I've always lived by. And remember, like, everybody has their own morals, and don't ever let somebody question your morals or make you feel like you having morals is wrong. No, set your own boundaries in yourself. And if that person can't respect them, like let's say let's talk on a sexual sense, that they want to do something and you don't, and if they don't respect that, then you need to run away from that very, very far and fast, because if they get the chance to take advantage of you, some may do so.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And even in friendships, boundaries can be hard because we say, oh, but it's my best friend or something like that. But they're important with your best friend as well. Boundaries are important with your best friend as well. And again, here's another gem. Boundaries are not one size fits all. So what the boundaries that you have set with one person may look very different than the boundaries that you have set with someone else. So that is it for my presentation. Are there any questions? Are there any concerns or anything that you guys would like to say before we move on to our next presenter?
Can I say something? I have a question.
Of course.
Hi, my name is Topeka, and I was wondering if you are going or in the process of getting ready to start the divorce process from your abuser. How can you make it easy on the children? And also, how can you explain to the children, especially the younger children, and the older ones that have this bond with the abuser? How do you say to them, listen, you can't open the door, when dad comes, or, or if he comes, or certain stuff, just to stay safe? How do you implement that?
So let me first say divorce is hard. So I've been here before, and not that my ex-husband was an abuser or anything like that, but divorce is just in general is very hard. And it's not only hard on the parents divorcing, but it's extremely hard on the children as well, because it's a change. It's a major life change. They're going from what they used to know to a new way of living. So one thing that I would suggest would be to always check in with them mentally, as far as how they're feeling about the divorce, how they're feeling about the relationship, the new way things have to be. Make sure that you're constantly checking in with them, because if they're feeling things and they're internally holding them in, it may begin to expose itself in different ways. So their grades may start slipping, or their behavior may start changing. You may see little changes in their behaviors and things like that. And just
Already
you see it, yeah.
I'm sorry. It already started. So it's like,
Yeah.
I'm beyond that point. Is like, how do you first get a grip of everybody, and then how do you move forward? That's what I'm kind of dealing with. I have a 17-year-old who's sitting with me right now, who we just started back connecting with each other since January. She was a runaway. And then you have a 16-year-old that was trying to follow kind of some of the similar road, and it's a lot of trauma involved.
Yeah.
So you
And
try to like kind of look at it.
I would, sorry, I think you're going in and out, so I thought you were finished talking. Um, therapy. I would definitely suggest therapy. Because again, like I said, it's a major life change for everyone. And then so not only are they experiencing the major life change, but they're watching you experience the major life change. And then because they are older, you can be honest with them about what you experience. And this is the reason why we have to set boundaries on when your dad comes and when you're able to open the door and things like that, because of the severity of the situation, because they are older children. Okay, I see you said the older one won't talk to a therapist. How about a mentor? So it's a little different from a therapist. It definitely can have not the same effect, but what it can do is give them someone that they can kind of dump on and get the feelings out so that they're not withholding. And it'll give them someone to give them a different perspective on the situation and what's going on. Because oftentimes divorce can breed resentment, especially if they don't understand. So the best thing you can do is, one, take care of you and your mental health, which I know in these situations are so very hard to focus on. But if you are your best self, then you're able to also pay attention to their mental health and their acting out and behaviors that they are displaying, because there's always a reason for a behavior. And I say this all the time. People don't just behave a way just because. There's always a reason and underlying, there's always a reason for a behavior. And I think we have
I was also going to say that Aaliyah Thomas is on the line, Ms. Bass. You might not have been on earlier in the presentation. You can direct email her. I mean, what is this called?
Chat.
And she can help put you in contact with some family support as well.
Yes, definitely. I can provide you with some resources for further help with that.
Ms.
Thank
Bass,
you so much.
you're welcome.
Okay, so we are going to move into
I had a question.
Oh, we're echoing. Can you guys hear me? I was hearing an echo. Okay, I think someone else said they had a question.
Yes, this is Maisha Wilson. I had a question. I wanted to know if you can explain gaslighting and how emotionally damaging it could be to young ladies.
Sure. So I'm going to pull up I want to make sure that I get it correctly. So gaslighting is a form of manipulation that occurs in abusive relationships. It is an insidious and sometimes covert type of emotional abuse where the bully or abuser makes the target question their judgment and reality. And that is extremely dangerous, as you said, Maisha. It is so dangerous. So it's what it does with the person, that manipulation in any form is terrible, whether someone is doing it to you or you're doing it to someone else. Manipulation is never okay. But when a person is able to make you alter your reality or not allow you to or take away what you know and believe to be true and make you think something else, that's so dangerous. It's dangerous on so many levels because oftentimes what they can do is they can warp how you see yourself, how you see others, and how you see situations, and then your decision making will be much different because you're not seeing reality clearly. So if you see any signs of a person who is manipulative or who may be gaslighting, it is so important to kind of turn the other way and know that this is not a relationship that you should be in, because a person should be able to stand firm on their beliefs at all times. And if someone is able to alter your reality, that's just way too much control. That's a lot of control, a lot of manipulation.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
So like a good example is like moving your keys. So it's like, you always hang your keys. I'm dating myself, but you always hang your keys when you come in the house, like on the hook.
Yes.
And you get ready to leave and the keys aren't on the hook because your abusive partner has moved them and put them like in your purse. You never put them in your purse.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess in that things like if you're a person that lays out your clothes the day before, maybe within a week, 4 days in that week, it's like, I didn't lay out my clothes again this morning, that type of stuff. So they start really making you start to second guess, like, am I losing my mind? So those are good examples of what gaslighting. I'm not sure if that's the other part that you were looking for, Ms. Wilson.
No, I think that's exactly what I was looking for. I was trying to explain it to my daughter and give her some examples. But in summary, I basically said, they do things to make you think that you're crazy and that you're losing your mind. And
especially when the things that you do that you don't even usually think about them, the unconscious things that you usually do if you always lock whatever, they're just basic things. Brush it this morning, like, where's my toothbrush or whatever.
Or something that you literally just saw with your own eyes.
Yes.
And then you bring it up and they're like, no, that's not what you saw. And you're like, but I did, and
Absolutely.
I mean, it really makes you question yourself. And then that can go spiraling to a whole different situation of depression and making you go to the doctors and question yourself. And, it's really a form of control and trying to isolate you. But I didn't really know how to fully explain it to my daughter. So that was perfect. Thank you so much.
And Samantha put in the chat that you have a conversation. It went away. You have a conversation about something and you bring it up the next day and he says, that's not what I said. To pretty much make you feel like you're losing your mind. When again, either you heard it with your own ears, you've seen it with your own eyes, but it's the denial game. Okay, Miss Ava says she has to go. Thank you so much for joining us, Miss Ava. We appreciate you spending your Sunday with us this morning. I now want to introduce Ms. Natasha Hutton, and she is the program coordinator for the Prince George's County Department of Family Services, Domestic Violence and Human Trafficking Division, and she is going to lead dating trivia. So I would like to introduce you to Ms. Natasha.
Hello, everybody. So we have received a lot of great gems, as Ebony called them, both from her and from our participants. So we thank you all for all of your input and everything that you have added. So we're going to do a trivia game, some questions that are related to dating violence. Okay, so I have the poll and I'd like you guys to answer the questions in the poll. And we're gonna see what people say. They're all simple questions, true or false. And then we could discuss them a little bit afterwards, all right? So I would like everybody to participate, please. But we have 57 people on, so we need 57 responses, all right? All right, I'm about to launch the poll. One, dating violence is rare among educated people. So educated people, they're not in domestic violent or dating violent relationships. Do y'all see the poll? Okay. All right, next question. I'm just gonna read through them. When someone leaves an abusive relationship, the abuse usually ends. So they leave, that's it. No more abuse, they're good. Number 3, drugs and alcohol are often a factor in dating violence incidents. Number 4, if a friend continues in an abusive relationship, you should cut ties with them. And number 5, dating violence usually becomes more severe over time. Let's take another minute. We got about 50% of the participants. Ooh, we have a 75. I like this participation. This is lovely. Take another 30 seconds. Seems like the fire has slowed down, so I think we're done. That's good, we got 80%. All right, I'm going to end the poll. Let's see what we said. Can you guys see the results?
Yes.
Yes, okay, excellent. All right, so our first one, dating violence is rare among educated people. We got 90% of people who said false, 10% said true. That is false. So dating violence happens in all populations, all races, all ethnic backgrounds, all different educations. Dating violence knows no limits. Like anyone in any type of background could experience dating violence. It's all about control. So if somebody could have control, it's going to happen. That's why we're here to learn about the science to prevent that. All right. Next one, when someone leaves an abusive relationship, the abuse usually ends. We had 7% say true, 93% say false, and that is also false. What we have found in a lot of situations is that when someone leaves, that's the most dangerous point. So when, like what we've been saying, like abuse is geared in control. When that abuser loses the control, they go crazy. They need to have some type of control. There's a lot of people who in their lives are ended when they decide to leave. So it is very, very important that if somebody is in an abusive relationship, they have to leave with a plan. All right, number 3, drugs and or alcohol are often a factor in dating violence incidents. We have 90% say true and 10% say false. The answer is true. So it's not always a factor, but it is a factor in a lot of relationships. Drugs and alcohol, as you know, can affect somebody's mind. It can kind of change the way they think. It can change the way they react. So while it is definitely not an excuse, and don't let anybody allow that to be an excuse, it could play a role in the dating violence incidents. Okay, number 4. If a friend continues an abusive relationship, you should cut ties with them. 7% say true, 93% say false. This is also false. You should not cut ties with somebody who is in an abusive relationship. Studies have shown that it takes somebody 7 times to leave an abuser. So they are going back, they're saying, oh, I don't want to be with them. They leave, they go back, they leave, they go back. As a friend, they're already in a very difficult situation. They're already in a very vulnerable situation. It's not ideal and it's not a good situation to leave the friendship because you're just like, oh, she doesn't listen. She just keeps going back, or he doesn't listen. He's just still dealing with that girl. It's not really a good idea. It's difficult for them. So being a friend for them, as long as you're safe, because if it's a situation where you become unsafe, then yeah, maybe, you can separate, but don't leave your friend just because they're in an abusive relationship. Last one is, everybody, 100% said true. Dating violence usually becomes more severe over time. Thank you, everybody. Beautiful. 100% true, and that is the case. Another thing that we find is that when we have abusers who begin their abuse in adolescence, they become even worse in adulthood. And we sometimes find that people who are abused in adolescence, they continue on in abusive relationships that get worse into adulthood. I'm sorry, my light's cut off. Give me a second. All right, I'm back. All right, so that was our trivia game. I thank you all for joining us. And I am going to turn it back over to Ebony.
Okay, guys, so we are going to now move into a 5-minute break. During this break, grab a snack. You know, Wendy Williams said grab a snack and come on back. So we need you guys to grab snack, grab your paint equipment, get it set up because the next thing that we're going to do is our virtual painting and canvas session. So please take this time to go get your paint material and we'll see you guys back in 5 minutes. Okay, ladies, is everyone ready? Cameras back on?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So next we're going to have our virtual painting on canvas session. And I would like to introduce Ms. Romaine Asbury of Whimsical Art Celebration LLC, and she is going to lead our paint session today. And Ms. Romaine, can you share your inspiration behind the piece?
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all. It's my pleasure to be here again. I appreciate this opportunity. And so what we're going to be doing, we're actually going to be painting on these glass jars today. And so I have my canvas here just to show you all different type of paintings if you want, because you may not be able to see them on the glass. But the inspiration behind the jar is, we've been talking, well, Miss Ebony has been talking about words of affirmation, things that the words that can make us, I've been really playing on words, and the words that define us, the words that can cause us to heal. And so I chose the jars because I like to set an intention for my day every day. And I like to set words to help me go throughout my day. And so I use this, and some people put words on their mirrors, but you can put words in this jar, and you can take a word and choose your word for the day if you can't think of anything right off. And so I put words in here, and you can do that later. And I'll just read off of the word. What is the word that I want to think of for me for today? And this is worthy, right? Or positive, or whatever words you want to guide your day and to help you frame who you are. And so that's the inspiration behind this piece and what we're going to be doing with this. We are going to be painting our jars. And so I saw someone say they didn't get a chance to pick up their supplies. If you didn't, I think that they could still probably do that later on. This is because this, unlike some of the other pieces that I've done before with participants, this is not a pre-sketch thing. So I know some people have some aspirations. I mean, some not I hope you have aspirations about being successful with this, but some people have some anxiety about how to move forward with this. I'm going to show you, but you can be as creative as possible. All right, as creative as you want to be. There is no guideline to follow. So we are going to get started. Hi, I see some people saying hi to me in the chat that I've worked with before. Hello. So we're going to get started. So you have your paint tubes, your paint pods. You had a little water cup in your bag as well. I asked you all during the break to go ahead and put water in that. Thank you. To put water in your cup, and then grab some paper towels and napkins. And again, I have my board just so if you want to know, want me to show you and you can really see how to paint something on your jar. I already started, got a little head start this morning. And so we're going to get started. Y'all ready? Let me see a thumbs up if everyone is ready. Oh, you made me bigger, and let me fix myself. Okay. All right, thumbs up. Okay. All right, so a tip. You have two brushes. You have this wider brush, and then you have this skinny brush. I am going to suggest for this particular activity and using glass that we paint on using the tiny brush. If we use the medium brush, that's what I call my medium brush. If we use the medium brush, we are going to not be able to apply the paint like we want to, but the tiny brush allows us to apply the paint better on the glass. Also, when we use this tiny brush, we have to be delicate. We're heavy-handed, and women, we're heavy-handed, right? Because we work with our hands all the time. This is gentle. Treat it like you want to be treated. Gentle, delicate. All right. So let's get started. I'm just going to show a couple of different types of flowers, maybe a butterfly. And so I'm trying to think anything else. If anyone else wants me to show anything, I'll try to show you. And then, or you can just put words on the outside of your jar also, if you want to do that. The jar does take a little bit longer time to dry than an actual canvas would. So just want you to know that. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to show a flower first. And again, I'm gonna show it on canvas. And I'm just gonna show basic flower with some petals. Tiny brush, holding my brush like I hold a pencil. I'm gonna do a small circle. And again, I'm showing it on canvas. And I'm showing it small because you're going to have a smaller space on your jar. And so I have my circle to indicate the inside, the middle part of my flower. I'm using brown. You can do whatever color you want. Be really gentle. And sometimes with glass, we may have to go over, sometimes with glass, we may have to go over, again, just let it dry. And just looking at some of the chat, hi, Erica, hi, Miss Linda, hi, Kimora, and any other people I've worked with or know. It's good to see people I know, and I will put my contact information in the chat also. Okay. And so after we do our circle, again, if it's going to take some time to dry, so we can always go back over it to make it deeper and darker once it dries. And then I'm going to rinse that color because I don't want my flower to be brown. So I'm going to rinse that color gently off in the water and dry it. Make sure you always dry your brush on a napkin. And then I'm just going to do some petals. And when we do the petals, I always like to say they're like a teardrop shape. And I do north, south, east, and west. Or a bunny, you can say bunny ears. And then after I do my north, south, east, and west, then I will do the coinciding quadrants that go with that: northeast, southeast, northwest, southwest. I'm a DC girl, so I always like to make that reference. All right. And so there, I have my not so perfect flower, but I'm gonna make it all come together. I always just like to do the outline of the flower before actually painting it in. And if anyone has any questions while we go, you can put them in the chat or you can ask them out loud. And again, I'm just showing you some things, my ideas, but one thing I found with doing this free form or free style painting, people do what they want to do, whatever comes to mind for you. And then of course, I'm gonna ask some people to show their stuff. Please and thank you.
Yes, I can't wait to see everyone's pretty job.
And we always have to encourage Miss Jackie to show off her masterpiece.
I'm not doing so good today.
Yeah, and she never does. Oh.
I'm not creative.
And again, remember, just have a nice, gentle hand. because when we paint on glass, it's a little different than painting on a canvas. And I'll show you on a canvas too. And then if you want to do, again, if you want to do a butterfly, just some words of affirmation on your jar. The tip, a tip that I have is to hold your brush like you would hold a pencil. So just like you're writing. And so I get down on my jar, and this is going to come off translucent. So I'm going to just go over it and take my own advice and just be gentle. And so I'm just going to write out peace. And then just be, again, create those things that resonate with you. And while we're going, does anyone have any questions or anyone have anything that I can answer for them? And I will go ahead, while you all are doing that, I will go ahead and put my contact information in the chat. Someone asked for that. And you can do all 4 sides of your jar. Even the top part, if you want that to be something. I like to do a lot of, when I do jars and glasses, vases, all of those different type of things on glass, I like to do sometimes just different colors of paint, do like an abstract piece on glass. So again, whatever your creative side, whatever comes out, go with it. And I'm sorry, it takes me a minute to type with one hand and have paint on my fingers. So give me a minute. I'm typing my info in. It's just moving a little slow.
Miss Romaine, I just wanted to show mine. I did flowers and I'm not quite finished. And
Okay.
I put I am love with a
Okay.
heart.
Okay, bring it back up to the camera, Miss Rashida.
Can you see?
Please. No. We can't.
Hey. Here we go. Woo.
Okay, and then bring the jar. Yeah, bring the jar up. I saw it for a minute. Move it over to the front of your camera. There you go. Okay, I am love. Yeah, I see. Okay.
I am love, and I have flowers.
Flower.
So I'm thinking on the other side, I'll put and with the flowers, I have 2 flowers, the grass, and the sun is shining on them.
Oh, I love it.
I think on the other side, I don't know. What comes to mind to me is girl power.
I love that.
So
Awesome.
I'm not quite finished, and I have to say I love this. This is a good stress relief as well.
It is. It really is. I mean, and I'm not just saying it because I do it. Like it really is. It got me through a lot, and it gets me through a lot of downtimes, right? And so it is a good stress reliever.
Thank you. So I'm not quite finished. So I'm still thinking of ideas, and just like you said, whatever comes to mind, I just like boom, 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 jot
Yeah,
them.
that's it. That is it. And then remember, and if you choose to do that, this is for everyone. If you choose to use this as an affirmation jar, think of words that resonate with you, positive words, put them in the jar to guide you through your day. Or like look up words of affirmation for self, and then write them down, put them in a jar. Choose one every day. Choose a couple. What do you want for yourself each day? Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, I think I finally finished my contact info. Okay. So there is my contact info. I do just mobile parties, virtual parties. So yeah. Anyone else want to share, or you're still going?
I would like to share. I finished one side.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
thank you.
flowers.
The sun, yeah, the sun and a rainbow.
Okay. Awesome. I love it. I love it.
Thank
you. Thank you, Kamora. You are my promoter. Yes, kids and teen parties too. Yes. I love it. How do I say your name? Afisha?
Yes, Afisha.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that was really nice.
Thank you.
That's my sister and niece, everybody.
Oh, okay.
Let that be known.
I will share one side of mine. I did a purple flower with the green stem, and can you see in the word love?
I love that, Erica. Hi, Erica.
Hi, Romaine.
Good.
I said, I like her.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. The purple flower is on theme. It is. And yes, Miss Jackie, you can do that. Yeah, and on glass, you can use this type of paint. You can use acrylic paint. I wouldn't suggest using anything else. Also, if you have, I know during quarantine, people did a lot of arts and crafts, right? And so if you have like paint pens too, you can use paint pens, and just enhance your jar even more. You can also, if you want to go back over like your words or flower or butterfly, whatever you're creating, you can let the initial coat that you put on dry and then put more back on it. But I'm going to finish filling my jar up with words. I go to yoga and they're always like, "What's your intention for today?" I'm like, I don't know, but I'm gonna start like just picking out the words to help move me throughout my day.
Really like the idea of putting words in. You can also do things like what is it called? Your daily scriptures and things. Just pull it out.
Yeah. Yeah, Miss Rashida reminded me of that, and I did put greater is he that's in me. I can do all things, like words, phrase, and it doesn't have to be a single word, phrases, scriptures, those things that will guide you through your day.
Miss Jackie, I'd like to make a request. Perhaps we could ask Miss Ramona, right?
Romaine.
Romaine, if you could pick a word out of your jar and make it a good one, and that'll be our theme moving through this week as we close out.
Okay. Oh, the pressure, Miss Nicole. Okay.
But it's an excellent idea.
It is an excellent idea. Let me see. She said oh, that's good. Well, they're all good, right? So
well, of course, it's you, but you know.
You ready for me to do that now?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it now because we're getting close to 1 o'clock. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, can y'all see that? It's backwards.
I can't see
know.
it.
My lighting. It says I am enough.
There you go.
That's all we need for the week. I am, well, forever, but yes, that's a good one for the week.
I am enough. Yeah,
I
that's
am
good. Yes, yes, Makai, that would be great. Share what you have.
You have to unmute.
So I did a flower on the side. I did a flower and I did love yourself.
Oh, love it.
Very nice.
Love it. Thank you for sharing. Before we go, would anyone else like to share?
Can we take?
I would like to share.
Am I on mute? No. Can we do a screenshot, Nicole, of everybody showing their everybody that wants to show their jars? So can we
Let me
change
put
it
my
to
TV producer hat on and get us off of the spotlight view.
okay. And then I said a screenshot. Let me figure out how to do it.
Can I share mine?
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so wait a minute, because I'm trying not to touch it. Okay, all right, so this side says love, and it says shouldn't, and it says hurt.
Oh wow.
So this is gonna be like a flower or something, but not yet.
Good.
Cool.
I would like to share as well. So I did a flower on the front, or one side, I should say. And then I actually wrote a saying, I am not defined by what has happened to me. I am in control of my own story.
Amen. Very nice.
I think the Sharon wanted to share.
I'm not done with mine yet, but I'm doing a butterfly because butterflies just mean a lot to me. And then probably on the back, I'll just put stay true to yourself. But this is my butterfly.
Oh, so cute.
Oh, that is cute.
I said I put a sunflower. On the other side, it says dreams with a heart on it. And this side right here, it's a yellow butterfly.
Oh, I love that, Topeka. Celebrate home.
What
Awesome.
Can you see everybody?
I am in grid gallery.
Okay, let me move to gallery.
Yeah, so we're all on gallery, and if everyone has their jars, if they could put them up to your cameras, so we'll grab this screenshot of everyone's beautiful artwork.
Who's gonna grab the screenshot?
I could do that.
Appreciate you, because I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, I'm pretending, but I think I'm doing a good job at pretending. All right, so I'm gonna give everybody the cameras on. Come on, queens. Let me give a couple more minutes so I can get everybody. Let's see. Ebony, our Madam of Ceremony, if you have your jar. Come on, let me see all these beautiful faces.
I didn't get a jar.
Oh, well, that's all right. Just be in the screenshot. You
So Miss
Ebony Jr.
Miss, right.
Yeah, Ebony Jr. I'm sorry. Okay, so on the count of three, I'm going to hit the button. So everybody
Romaine,
ready?
wait a minute.
I don't know where I went. Oh, I didn't know. Okay, I
I
was playing around.
haven't done it yet.
Ms.
I'm
Brock, Kamar, wait a minute.
I think
Oh,
we in
yes.
spotlight view. I can't see gallery only when someone's talking.
I see gallery now for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's kind of unraveling at the end, ladies, but yeah. But okay, I'm gonna count to 3 and get this screenshot. So 1, 2, 3, cheese. All right, so let me just dump this over and I'm gonna go on mute and then I'll bring the screen share back up for you, Miss Ebony.
Okay.
I think we got it, Miss Maddie. You're good. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, ladies, I had a wonderful time and I hope you all can say the same. I hope you were able to take some gems, put them in your pocket, hold them close to your heart, remember them in your mind as takeaways from today. We have a few thank yous and special thanks for making today a huge success. So we would like to thank Director Elena Balam Butler, County Executive also Brooks, and County Council Chair Calvin has spoken the second for their welcome and words of recognition. Nicole Jackson Young of the Office of Community Relations for our icebreaker and preparing the wonderful PowerPoint presentation that you guys seen today. And then Aaliyah Thomas and the Community Crisis Service, Inc. for providing support to our attendees. And last but not least, Ms. Romaine Esbury and Whimsical Art Celebration for the Creative Glass Painting activity. But before we close, ladies, can I see everyone put your crown on straight before we go? Because we're all queens. Okay. Oh, Sheer, I seen that with attitude. I love it. Yes. Can we put our crowns on straight? Let this week help you walk in confidence. Remember the affirmation for the week: I am enough. That is so perfect. Look in the mirror, say it to yourself every morning as you go to school, as you go to work, whatever it is that you go do during the day. And again, thank you for spending your Sunday with us. We don't take it lightly. And ladies, remember, you are queens, you are loved, and of course, you are enough.
Thank you, everyone. Keep finishing.
Thank you.
Thank you. And last thing, sorry, before we go, if you need community service hours, please send me an email. So this is Natasha, the one who's been emailing everybody everything. So just send me an email if you need community service hours, and we're gonna make sure we get that information to you. Okay?
Yeah. Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you so
everybody.
much.
Thank you, everybody. Really enjoyed the
Awesome.
Thank
you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Have a wonderful Sunday.
Yep, wear your crowns.
Thank you, ladies, for a wonderful event.
Thank
Thank you for joining us.
Yes.